Hello guys, and welcome to another wild Shiftaholics Subaru project video. In this episode we're going to be tackling all this mess. But all kidding aside, we're going to primarily focus our efforts into finishing up modifying our wide body front fenders, as well as making some additional front end modifications, which we will get to later on in this video. Now, since we already completed all of the metal fabrication work for our wide body front fenders in the last episode, what we're going to start with is prepping them for bodywork. And for that, we're going to install them on the car simply because it's going to be easier to do most of the work while the fenders are on the car. So let's get to it. So it's another beautiful day and we're making good progress with our wide body front fenders. In fact, the passenger side fender is almost ready. We just need to fill up some of the pinholes and do some light sanding, and then we can move on to the driver's side. And again, with the driver's side, all we have to do is sand and fill up the pinholes, and then we'll be able to move on to the next little mod that we're going to be doing to this thing. So after what seemed like an eternity of back-breaking manual labor, both fenders are done. By done, what I mean is we have finished our bodywork on these two wide body front fenders, and it's just about ready to be primed and painted. However, as I've mentioned in the previous episodes, we're not going to be able to get to that till later in this project build. For now, we have some other things we need to tackle first. The next thing on our agenda is just to clean things up and put this front end together to get an idea of how it's going to look. So after test fitting our bumper, I did notice a couple of imperfections. Mainly here, as you can see, the gap is a bit uneven. So I want to fix that before moving on to any other mod. So it's another beautiful day, and we made good progress yesterday. We got the panel gaps where we wanted them. They're a little tighter than factory setup, but that's kind of what we were going for. So we still have some little fine tuning. We got to get rid of some fine scratches on the fender, but for all intents and purposes, they're done. We're not doing any more body work till we get to the paint stage, which we'll do just basic prep, and then we'll paint each part individually. So for now, we can move on to the next thing that we're doing to the car, and that is going to be a custom chin spoiler. So as you can recall from earlier episodes, we actually custom fabricated this front bumper using the top section from a non-turbo Forester bumper and the lower section from a WRX bumper. We actually grafted them together. We actually also had to shorten the WRX bumper because it was we had a little fitment issues. So it's very custom. However, what I want to do is I want to fit a chin spoiler to the car. So, you know, just a front lip. However, since there's nothing that we can buy off the shelf that's kind of plug and play type of deal, we will have to fabricate it. But it shouldn't be too difficult considering the front is basically a WRX front. So what I did is I ordered 2 separate chin spoilers that we can experiment with and see if we can get that factory style flush fitment. Now I can kind of guess what you might be thinking right now. And that is, why am I doing this to an unfinished bumper? And I have reasons. 2 actually. The first reason is I don't own a paint booth. So I'm trying to get everything painted in one shot eventually. So this is going to make it a little easier if I have everything pre-fitted and everything just plug and play, everything fits. I don't have to do any type of work, after the fact. So that's very important. The second reason is kind of ease of use. I don't want a permanent install. I don't want to rivet it on like I did to the STI. So I want something that could be easily removed and put back on. So installed and uninstalled. And I'm hoping to figure out a different mounting style, hopefully nut and bolt type of setup. Something easy without sacrificing that fitment, without sacrificing the crisp look. So let's get to it. Here it is. Now, I know I mentioned I got 2. The other spoiler I got was a 1-piece, and at least it was supposed to be 1-piece. When it arrived, it actually arrived in 2 pieces. But all of that aside, how do I put this kindly? It was probably the worst thing I've ever bought on Amazon. It was so far from fitting on the car that the only way I would ever get it to fit properly or to align with the curvature of the WRX bumper if I kind of melted it down and used the plastic to make another one. So that was a total piece of garbage. I mean, it was. And I'm not speaking ill of Amazon. I buy a lot of things off Amazon, and usually I have a very good experience. So it's just one of those things. Sometimes you get these really super poor quality parts. Even the material, the plastic was so brittle that when I put it back in the box to ship it back, it literally broke in my hands. It was like. See this, you can bend it, you can twist it, it's not going to break. That plastic, I don't know what it was made out of. It was definitely not this. So now we're down to one choice. I don't want to order another one of these. I want to try out this 3-piece. And I know what you're thinking, it's kind of cheap, but believe it or not, I like it. I think it's going to be easier to custom fit it to our custom bumper, especially with these sides. We will have to shorten them because, as you can remember, our bumper is a little shorter. So although everything in the front should be identical to the WRX, the sides we got to mess around with the sides a little bit. But this is actually fairly well made. I mean, I have no complaints. Honestly, I think it's going to work very good. And you know what? Just because it's kind of It's not the, you know, it's just a hollow piece like this. It's not fully boxed in. It's light too. It's very light and it's very flexible plastic. So I think this will work. So let's see how it looks on the car. Let's see if we can even test fit it on the car. So let's get to it. Learn from my mistakes. Never use cheap white masking tape for auto body applications. I couldn't be happier with the fitment. Considering this is a aftermarket chin spoiler, it fit just like OEM. I'm just pleasantly surprised. It's very good. I mean, especially for 70 bucks, this was cheap stuff, and it fit very, very good. Now, as anticipated, we did have a little bit of a fitment issue on the sides, because keep in mind we did shorten the WRX section of the bumper, so naturally you're going to have a little bit of a overhang. But it's not as bad as I thought. In fact, I played with it a little bit, and I kind of pushed all the three pieces together, and it only overlaps about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. So I think I can live with that, honestly. I try to be a perfectionist, but if I start cutting this, this is gonna, you know, then I cannot keep this factory finish. I cannot keep this, you know, plastic. Then we'll have to coat it with something. So I'd rather not modify it, and I think with this spoiler I can get away with not modifying it. In fact, maybe I can even push them together further. I can maybe modify the points where they join and get a better fitment. But again, very happy. Even if it stays the way it is, I'm very happy with it. So I'm going to try and play with it a little more to see if I can get a better fitment. But again, it's really like splitting hairs at this moment. So let's see what we can do, and then we're going to mount it with some screws. Chin spoiler is on, and it looks terrific, if I do say so myself. Now, as I mentioned before, it's not really a permanent installation. We still have to take the bumper off. We have to finish doing our body work, the, you know, fine sanding and that type of stuff, painting it and putting everything back together. But for the time being, I think it looks very good. We made good progress. I'm afraid this is all the time we have for this episode. However, before we leave, I want to address the elephant in the room. In order to address some of the concerns of the people that have recently contacted me asking me for project updates and basically why I haven't uploaded a video in the last couple of weeks, I want to reaffirm something that I said earlier in this project build, and that's basically that I am committed to seeing this through to the end, from vision to end product to reality, basically. I enjoy making these videos, I enjoy working on the car, and I truly appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me when you subscribe, you comment, and I try my best to get these videos out as quickly as possible. However, I did get into a little bit of an accident. I hurt my arm. I'm all good now, no problems. But I wasn't able to work on the car for a couple of weeks. But the good news is we're back on track. We are going to make a lot of progress. We're going to finish with the front end, and we're going to move on to a lot of other parts of the car, modifying things. And you know, making things that are not often seen. So stay with us as we make a lot of progress and we build something truly unique. Thank you for watching.